This is Professor Bert Chapman, the Purdue's Government Information, History, and Political Science librarian. I'm presenting a recording today on how to use the Indiana Register for Indiana State residential regulatory research. The Indiana Register is the publication produced by the Indiana State that lists regulations for enforcing state laws. In 1943, the Indiana General Assembly passed a law establishing general agency rulemaking procedures to enforce state laws. In January of 1947, the Indiana Secretary of State published the first official codification of such rules. And on July 1st, 1978, the Indiana Register began monthly print publication. Beginning July 1st, 2006, the Indiana Register is only published on the internet and it's updated more frequently. The Indiana Register contains the text of proposed rules, final rules, and other documents, including governor's executive orders and attorney general's opinions in the order they are received by the Indiana Legislative Council, which is an Indiana General Assembly support agency. Rules are policy statements having the force of law. An online archive of the Indiana Register is available from October 2000 to the present. Fiscal impact statements are included in proposed rules. Agencies have 3 business days to file rules, emergency rules, corrections, rule recalls, and related items. Agencies must hold public hearings on proposed regulations within 21 days after they're published in the Indiana Register. Proposed regulations can include time in which the public can comment on these proposals and contact information for individuals responsible for enforcing proposed regulations at the issuing agency. Agencies respond to public comments made at meetings and in communications to the agency responsible for the proposed regulation. Agencies must submit proposed rules to the Indiana Attorney General to determine if they are constitutional. Rules approved by the Attorney General are sent to governor's lawyers for approval. This is a link to the user's guide to the Indiana Register and Indiana Administrative Code database. This is a sample of an interpretation in the Indiana Register published on June 3, 2020 by the Indiana Fire Prevention and Building Safety Commission, which is also part of the Department of Homeland Security. On March 23, 2020, Governor Holcomb issued Executive Order 2008, which listed essential businesses to operate during the COVID pandemic, and it includes critical trades such as building, construction, and other trades, including electricians and plumbers. This is the executive order signed by the governor, and it includes the state seal, the governor's signature, and the signature of the Indiana Secretary of State. This is a sample Indiana Register search on plumbing from December of 2019 to the present. You'll notice there are breakdowns by how many results are available for individual days, and then you can link to those results through this website. On November 27, 2019, the Indiana Plumbing Commission published an emergency rule listing criminal convictions as a factor which may cause plumbers to lose their state license. The beginning of this tells what kinds of criminal convictions can cause a plumber to lose their state license, and it lists the relevant sections of the Indiana Code, which is Indiana state laws, which may result in them losing their license. So for instance, Section G, where it says Rape IC 35-42-4-1, that's the section of the Indiana Code which covers rape convictions. On September 11, 2019, the Register issued a notice of a proposed Indiana Plumbing Commission rule. And this contains information about the rule, the section of the Indiana Code that gives the Plumbing Commission the authority to issue those regulations. And then it also gives you information on whom you can contact at the Indiana Plumbing Commission to find more information about this proposed rule. The Indiana Register can also be searched by volume and page number. For instance, 28 IR 3305 means volume 28 of the Indiana Register, page 3305. And then there will be additional things that will tell you the citations for various Indiana state regulations, where it says 675 IAC 14-4-2-67 figure R502.2. It means that a matter dealing with floor construction was repealed, and this repeal was announced in the Indiana Register's June 13, 2005 issue on volume 28, page 3305. Another important source for Indiana State Administrative Law regulations are Indiana Attorney General opinions. These are published both in the Indiana Attorney General's website and in the Indiana Register. They are advisory opinions reflecting Indiana Attorney General interpretations of federal and state law. They comment on the constitutionality of proposed state legislation, and such opinions may be requested by Indiana representatives and senators, Indiana attorneys, and state officials. They are issued numerically by calendar year. For instance, 2020-8 would be the 8th Attorney General opinion issued during calendar year 2020. I next want to show you opinion 2017-4 called Deep Tunnel Easement Between Indiana State Fairgrounds. It was published on August 14th, 2017 by the Attorney General, and it's 4 pages long. This is a text of the opinion. It was written by the Attorney General and individuals on their staff to Cynthia Hoya, the Executive Director of the Indiana State Fair Commission, and she is wanting to know whether Citizens Energy Group can begin building a deep tunnel under the State Fairgrounds property, which is part of a project that's supposed to go on until 2025, and this contains information about the technical details of this proposed dig. And this announces that the Commission may grant a deep sewer tunnel easement under the fairgrounds to the organization requesting the permission to be digged without Indiana state legislation. And then they conclude by saying that the proposed easement is consistent with and will not substantially interfere with public use of the state fairgrounds. And the Attorney General concludes that the dig can occur. Some concluding remarks I'd like to make. The Indiana Register contains the text of proposed and adopted Indiana state regulations, governor's executive orders, Indiana Attorney General opinions, and agency interpretations of regulations in the Indiana Administrative Code. The Indiana Register also includes contact information for officials at Indiana state agencies which are responsible for enforcing these regulations. Individuals and organizations may attend public meetings to support or oppose these proposed regulations and submit comments supporting or proposing these regulations. Individuals and organizations should also contact their Indiana state representatives or senators to express support for or opposition to proposed or existing regulations, and the link below provides information on how you can contact your representatives.